This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of NHL 21 Edmonton Oilers Franchise Mode here on the channel at long last. Okay, I've been meaning to bring this to you for probably about a week and a half now. Problem being, there is a world ender glitch that they just patched yesterday in franchise mode. What I mean by world ender is you can get 3/4 of the way through an episode. As you know, this has been the trade deadline episode everybody's been waiting for. You can get 3/4 of the way through an episode, and all of a sudden you have to substitute a line, and the game freezes, you're done, you can't move, and you have to restart. Do it again, same thing happens. Do it again, same thing happens. Do it again, same thing happens. So here we are, try number 5, as I might, to get this done for you. And, of course, see where the Edmonton Oilers go in the 2020-2021 NHL season. Now, what I want to put out before I get too deep into today's episode is I want to put out there that I am looking at potentially, if they announce an all-Canadian division, I will realign the NHL in the video game according to the divisions. And then we'll see how that all spreads out. Problem is, you'd still have inter-division play and stuff like that, but at least you'd have a more focused Canadian division and then everybody else, right? So kind of stack up how that all works out, as it's going to be an interesting start to the NHL season in real life. Now, what you need to know about the Oilers is last episode we started winning after we traded Mr. Mike Smith. All of a sudden, the Oilers are 68 points on the season. They're behind the Golden Knights. We've got 22 games to go to the end of the year. You need probably, another 30 or 26 points on the year to get to the playoffs. So 13 wins in 22 games should secure this Oilers team a playoff berth. So you got to go 13-9 or 12-7-2, something like that. Points-wise, you've got Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl leading the way. Nuge is a point per game. Yamamoto at 53 points. Chase on at 52. Barry 49. Neal 39. Clefbaum 36. And Kyle Turris in there at 29. Tyler Ennis, who we'll talk about more in a second, at 28. And then you've got Nygaard, who we will also talk about more in a moment, at 16. So there's a little bit to be said for this trade deadline that's coming up after the Anaheim game that you saw on your screen there. There's a couple things I want to do, a couple things that I think worked well in my last takes at this, is you simply see the trading block, what we've updated it to be. It's Chase on, Neal, and Kassian. You see the insane value of Chase on. You see the insane value of Ennis. You see the insane value of James Neal. But the low value of Zach Kassian, who's really had a low value year for us. Only 14 points in 60 games at that $3.2 million contract. We want to free that off the books. We want to bring in a guy who's going to get the job done. And funny enough, is I'm going to go out of my way and just add some security to this Oilers lineup. It's something I want to make sure we do in case kind of the trade deadline gets away from me. And, well, you got a couple options here, right? You got Kovalchuk, who would fit under our cap, Holla, Athanasiou, Brassard, Frolic, and then you get down to Jay Bouwmeester. But right, there's quite a few guys right here that could solve some problems, whether it be a center right wing situation, a left wing right wing situation in Athanasiou, who the Oilers have had in real life, but really turns out to be a stud in this franchise mode. And of course, Kovalchuk, who at 83 overall, 37 years of age, could really be an impact player. Sniper on the wing. But end of the day, I'm going to take a shot at Athanasiou here again, simply because he fits the Oilers lineup a little bit, but actually he doesn't. If I remember correct, he doesn't. So you know what? We're gonna take a shot here at two-way forward Derek Brassard. I've always talked about this one. You know what? Let's make it happen, because we're gonna have Kassian missing on the right wing. So let's see what happens if we sign Derek Brassard. Let's give him just 0.5 or 50,000. My goodness, let's give him 50,000 less than that. And we will see if we can get him onto the roster here. The other side, too, is we got to go see a contract situation. I forgot this in all my previous recordings. Is a contract situation for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who does indeed want an extension with the Oilers. You've got Ethan Bear, who wants an extension as well, but we'll figure that one out as we go along. So offer extension, you see Nuge here looking at $8.475 million for 6 years. The ask goes up for 8 years. The ask goes nowhere near down unless you go to 2 or 1 year deals. So for Nugent Hopkins, it's going to be a costly get if we want to sign him to an extension. I think 4 years at 8.475 would be great, but we'll go lowball him right here at $8 million flat, right? Obviously, yes, you guys were talking about me giving Nugent Hopkins free points, but the Oilers have needed every single point to try and score as many goals as possible. So $8 million for Nugent Hopkins. He's going to discuss the extension, and we're going to see what happens for him. So now we move forward towards the trade deadline, and we're going to see if we can't get ourselves a couple trades or two made here when it comes up to the game against the Nashville Predators on that day. So here we go. Against the Anaheim Ducks, a 9-1 win. I've done some background work as well. Steven Kirka, a scout that we have signed. He is going to accept our offer, and we're just going to boost up the scouting staff here as we get into the last couple months before the draft. And then, of course, Valeri Morozov is going to get in there as well for us. And now, you know what? Nugent Hopkins, bing, bang, boom. Look at that. 8.0 on the dot. It's important for me to get what I want in the contract duration, so it was easy to agree to this renewal. Whew! That's some GM Ken Holland skills on my part, getting Nugent Hopkins down from that ledge of almost 8.5 down to 8.475 and down all the way to $8 million for the next 4 years. Heck yeah, that's going to be a steal of a deal if he keeps performing. And now you also have Derek Brassard signing with the Oilers. So we're going to be a conservative buyer going into this trade deadline. Ladies and gentlemen, it moves way too fast, but here we are, finding ourselves entering the trade deadline all of a sudden. It's going to flash once, and now you see what's on the board. You've got Jonathan Taves, Dustin Byfuglien, Marc-Andre Fleury, Keith Yandel, Logan Couture, PK Subban, Evander Kane, Anthony Mantha, Josh Bailey, and Brock Nelson all available, but it's going to be the Oilers that are going to go out there and see if we can't make a trade. And I want to take a look at something that I've looked at in the background here. There's a couple guys that I really want to see if we can find some kind of deal for. Centers, I believe he's in here. I believe he's on the center side. There we go. Alex Galchenyuk. Already a trade. The Minnesota Wild trade Jared Spurgeon for Korpisalo, a 2021 first and a 2021 second round pick. Now at the same rate, I believe there's a left winger here in that Richie guy that happens to be in the organization with the Ottawa Senators. Where is he? There we go. Richie. I want to know which Richie this is. Is this Brett? This is Brett Richie. All right. You see what he's done down there in the minors. So we're going to see if we can find a trade for the Oilers. Zach Kassian and a 7th round pick. Oh my goodness. You don't say. This is exactly what I was looking for in a trade, and all of a sudden, here we go. I've found it. I every time it's a little bit different. It's the 6th, 7th, or something, but that's exactly what we want. We want to boost up Bakersfield a little bit, or give us a depth option in case we get an injury. And Brett Ritchie, a guy who will alter the team chemistry just a bit. So let's accept that trade. Alex Galchenyuk, a beauty add to this team as well. And now you see that's our first trade out of the way now. Do we want all the action to happen, or do we want somebody to call us? I don't know. Tough decision here. Calgary's trade Yarmelson, Schaller in exchange for Senshin, a 3rd and a 3rd. So let's go find a trade here, because now we've got Derek Brassard, we've got Richie, and yes, we've got Galchenyuk as well. So that means a guy like Tyler Ennis down here, who has a lot of trade value, really doesn't have a place on this team anymore. And you go find a trade here, and there's just going to be a ton of trades because everybody is interested in this broken trade value system. You've got Vakinen, who's available top 4D, a 3rd and a 4th for him, 2nds and 2nd and 3rd and Cuckoo. Pelche in there, Ruzicka, 2nd and 3rd out of these guys, those guys, Barron, Cott, and then Bowers as well. So I want to take a look at this Shane Bowers trade, because this one looks like it could be rather interesting for us. 2 3rds And of course, Shane Bowers, who is 76 overall at 21 years old at center. My problem is, and I'm going to tell you, he's a center. I don't like the fact that he's a center. So I want to go with Martin Kaut from the Colorado Avalanche. I've done this enough times. I'm not going to waste my time. I'm going to show you what I've got in mind and what I want to do for this trade deadline. There's several things I've looked at, several things I've gotten done. And so yeah, Martin Kaut, we want to see that trade. I'll kind of let you see him before I discuss too much further. He's also 76 overall, but he's a right winger. He's a top 6 forward, medium potential, and at 76 overall, I'm not complaining too much as the Avalanche trade a first rounder and Justin Barron to the Senators in exchange for Ben Hutton, Colin Wilson, and a 2020 6th-round pick. That's a pretty lopsided trade. Man, Ottawa just took advantage of Colorado this time. So let's propose this trade without any more thinking, and there we go. We get ourselves a deal done. And I mentioned Joakim Nygard. Well, now it's about finding a deal for Nygard that works. He's got 7 goals, 10 assists in 40 games played, but he's got a heck of a trade bar value. And I have followed Granlund go to the Vancouver Canucks in exchange for 2 seconds and DiPietro. That's a heck of a deal. So realistically, what's out there that we want to look at? Anything you guys want to look at? Oh, let's go to Tampa Bay, see what we can poach from them with our limited cap space here. Several guys. You'd get Alex Killorn, who's on a terrible deal if I don't remember. Yeah, 3 years at 4.45. He's had 50 points this year. That's not such a terrible deal all of a sudden. You can get several other guys who are in there at high potentials. You get somebody down here, right? Like, what's it going to cost us to get a couple of guys into the farm system and really keep the competitive edge we have? That's the thing, right? So let's just take a look at what it takes to get a Taylor Radish, for example. It'll take us 2/3, and that's the only deal that we can make. Okay, I'm not making that deal. Let's go see what this Kachuk deal would end up costing us here. 73 overall at 22 years old, and this is going to be same exact deal, 1/3 and 1/3. The Ottawa Senators overly active in this trade deadline, now acquiring Jeff Skinner. They've already acquired Mr. Zach Kassian as well. What time is it? 7:59 a.m. Hey, so let's see if we can't go find rookie goalies and see what's going on across the NHL for what we could acquire. You've got Wool. You've got Silvos and Keeley. You've got in there Ferguson, Dansk, and no, nothing there. Over here, Bjorkland. Really, nobody's got good goaltending prospects. Really, that does not make sense. Eric Comrie, who's 25 years old, as Patrick Marleau is now headed to the Vancouver Canucks. You've got over there in Anaheim, Dostal, Durney, and Eriksson Ek. Arizona's got Prosvetov. There's nobody I'm liking here. Nobody's really got anybody that makes any good sense to go after. Zigadulin, right? That's still 25 years old. Nedeljkovic, he's potentially a good goalie, but still nothing special. Then you've got a backup AHL starter. There's nothing in terms of quality goalies to be going after, like Vevalainen out of Columbus. Yeah, that'd be an alright pickup. Or Tarasov, but he's 65 overall. And then you've got 78 overall Jake Ottinger, fringe goalie starter potential. What is there? There's not much to like about this whole situation. Bednar's unsigned, Jan Bednar. And I mean, you could go trade for him and see what it takes to get him. And this is probably going to be the laughable part. It could take a 4th-round pick for us to get Bednar, who was, in essence, a 4th-round pick in 2020. So you can go out and get him, but really, you going to do that? I don't know if I'm going to do that. Let's keep moving down the list here. I just want to see, right? We've got Stuart Skinner. We've got Olivier Rodriguez. Stuart Skinner looking like one of the best young goalies in the NHL in this franchise mode, at least, anyway. Like, there's nobody of any good potential. Obviously, DiPietro. Look at this. Medium starter potential. 78 overall. And he's at that low of trade value. No trades found for DiPietro. That is kind of crazy to think, right? And then you've got Markkanen, who's Juho Markkanen, who's 2020 4th-round pick by the LA Kings. He's nowhere close to being anything. Like if you go there, trade value, you're probably going to get 5th and a 7th. That's what they're asking for him. A 5th and a 7th for a medium starter goalie at 18 years old. Tough goes, right? Tough go. I mean, are we going to waste a pick to find a goalie in the draft? That's a tough question as well, as everybody else seems to be making trades here. And that Nygaard trade waits in the wings for us. You've got Jones as Hunter Jones. Looks like a solid goalie there. 2019 second round draft pick. And what would it cost us to get Hunter Jones? Nobody's willing to deal there on him, so nothing there. Caden Primo. What could we end up trading? Nothing there either. Okay, nothing going on. All right, I'll leave goalies alone for now. It's 9:06 a.m. on the trade deadline. It was worth a shot. There's a pulled off the market Josh Bailey. Another trade there. The Dallas Stars trading a 2021 first rounder in Dellandrea in exchange for the Wings' Bobby Ryan. Yeah, that's how these trade deadlines are going. A first in Dellandrea for Bobby Ryan, who will probably sit in the minors for them if you've followed Twitter close enough with these trade deadlines as to how they work. So let's see quickly if we can't find something else on the trade block. You've got Derek Brassard up there all of a sudden. I don't think we're going to be finding any trades for Derek Brassard, but you go add Joakim Nygaard, see if anyone's going to offer us anything here. It's 9:22. We'll wait around till 9:45 and see if anyone's willing to find us anything. But realistically, what else does this Oilers team need? There's not much to it, right? You look at the draft board when it comes to things, the watch listed, projected picks. We're somewhere between 19th and 21st. Then all of a sudden we've got all these picks as well to figure out along the way. We've got 3 7ths, 2 6ths, a 4th, 2 3rds, and a 1st. So we've done all right at picking up draft stock, right? All of a sudden, yeah, we got 5, 6, 9 draft picks in 7 rounds. That's pretty good for the Edmonton Oilers at this point. Forward depth chart, right? We've got depth all the way down. You've got at least 7 guys over 82 overall. You've got 10 guys over that. Like that's all right. We can deal from that position of strength, right? That's not a problem. As you've got Nygaard in the lineup, now you got Richie to replace him. You've got Puljujärvi there at 80 as well. Defensive depth chart, we are looking solid, no problems at all there. So realistically, what do we do, right? Is goaltending depth looks to be the weakest position. You've got Stuart Skinner, who's 74 overall. You've got Dylan Wells, 73, and Olivier Rodrigue. But end of the day, right, it's an overall E. Offense is an A+, defense C, and then you've got an E on the goaltending. So I wonder if we can't go find ourselves a little trade for a, I don't know, a defenseman that could really go changing the pace of things. If you get where I'm going with that, let's go down to defenseman here on the Winnipeg Jets. And I happen to have a target named Vinny Heinola in my sights. 77 overall, 19 years of age. And look at that. Would you check that out straight up? It's like I've done this before. There's a lot of jokes to go around with this whole franchise mode episode, as it looks like the boys are ready to rip 6s this evening. But Joakim Nygaard straight up for Vinny Heinola. My goodness, you don't say. So let me not quite go there. Let's go and see if we can't find ourselves a little bit something else that I want from this Winnipeg Jets team. Maybe in the way of a centerman that will take a little while longer to develop in Nikkanen. All right, let's go see what we got. Well, pretty simple. 2 third-round picks, 1 out of this draft, and a 3rd out of the next year's draft that we just acquired from Colorado. Heinola and Nikkanen, those are 2 excellent players to add to the system in exchange for 2 thirds and Joakim Nygaard. And without a doubt, I am ready to pull the trigger on this trade and make that deal. Heck yeah, that really allows us to add up. And just for gigs, all right, just for a giggle, there's no trade to be found on the Oilers for Cole Perfetti. Now I wonder what about Christian Vesalainen here. What could we find for him? Alex Chiasson, a 3rd and a 3rd. I'm sorry, what? We can go get Christian Vesalainen for 2 thirds and have him at a medium elite potential. He's only scored 26 points this season, but that would be absolutely insane to add to the lineup. Sniper, great player, fits all the penalty kill lines. Wow, that would be a really good get for us if we were to trade Alex Chiasson. But Alex Chiasson is an important part of the team because he fits the system so well. Can't part with him. I'd love to part with him, but it remains Alex Chiasson a part of this team. I know I keep in real life talking about trading Alex Chiasson all day, but he is a valuable, valuable member of this Edmonton Oilers franchise mode we've got going here. He's a big part of the top two lines. Now with Ritchie getting added to the NHL lineup, he won't be, but my goodness, what a trade deadline so far. Let's go for a trade summary here, shall we? Danny DeKeyser and Matt Nieto from San Jose, second and a second. Johnson, fourth and a fifth from New York in exchange for Morgan Ross and Maxim Shushko. Gusev and a fourth go to Nashville in exchange for a 2022 first-round pick. Ville Heinola and Henry Nikkanen from the Winnipeg Jets for Joakim Nygard, a third-round pick and a third-round pick. You'll like to see that one for sure. Evander Kane, a third for DeKeyser, a second and a second. That's Edmonton's second, by the way. Florida acquires Sean, a fourth, and Puri from Buffalo or what? Oh, that's that trade there. And then you've got Buffalo acquiring Palmieri. You've got Nashville acquiring Stefan and Pitlick. Got Carolina getting Shiri and Hartman. Bobby Ryan, that's a disaster of a trade. Buffalo gets Riddick and Phillips for Eric Stahl out of Calgary. You've got Vikinen, a second and a third round pick going for Anton Strawman. Right? We had our chance there. Carl Soderberg for Connor Carrick, and those guys, you look at there's been some big trades in the NHL. Things really getting shaken up. As we made that first deal, we went all the way out of our way, right? Dustin Byfuglien, who's playing for New York Rangers in this franchise mode, goes for a third-round pick, and Michael Stone as well to Boston for a first round, and Oscar Steen. Like, that's Zach Kassian for Galchenyuk and Brett Ritchie trade. That is dynamite. That was a huge one for us. And now all of a sudden the Oilers team looks completely different. We'll readjust the lines and we'll really make this team a contender. We've gone out and had a statement trade deadline, all the while projecting our draft board to still stay pretty fairly stable, right? We've still got a first, a third, a fourth, 2 6, and 3 7. So it's up to me to scout the crew as best we can and find ourselves somebody who's going to come up the board and really do the job well. Avon Ivan over there really looking good at 190 overall. He's moving up the depth chart there by the looks of it, so you have to take a look to see how he does. But we are running out of time on this trade deadline. The episode's far from over. You want to go the distance, you're going the distance with Tyson Dolynny on Dolynny TV today. Trade deadline done, 12 p.m. And now the Oilers get ready to continue the NHL season here in 2021. We are 33, 24, and 1. Now Brandon Sutter being placed on waivers. We're going to decline that. We're just going to gently decline that. Don't want to touch that one with a 3-foot pole. And there we go. So let's go find out what this Edmonton Oilers team looks like now all of a sudden. You've got Galchenyuk, Nugent Hopkins, Chiasson on that line. Ooh, that looks good. That looks solid. Cooper Marody up here in the NHL all of a sudden. We're going to sub him out. We'll send him back down to the minors. We'll get right wing Brett Ritchie, power forward, in here. We'll move him up into that role there. And now you see how this all shakes out. It all makes sense all of a sudden. You see what I was trying to do by adding Brett Ritchie to the Oilers lineup. And whoo! Oh, yes, baby. Yes, baby, yes. That +5 is what I was looking for. Last time I did this, it was only a +3. But you want to talk about a maxed out forward line. My goodness, the Oilers are about to put up goals unlike anything you have seen in a long, long while. Brett Ritchie must be maxed out on line 2. He is. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins pretty dang close to maxed out. And yeah, Yamamoto is close to maxed out as you can get as well. You see, Draisaitl fits way better on the fourth line, but don't ask me why. And all of a sudden now we just have to flip things around here, and I believe Haas up there should do the trick. Benson's not doing the trick there, so now it's a question, do we take Benson out and get like Cooper Marody in here? Is that going to do us anything? Let's try it. Let's try it. That's not going to do us anything? That's going to do it. There we go. So Tyler Benson gets his way back down to the minors. And you look at this, we just have to fix that right there, and suddenly, chemistry on the Edmonton Oilers. That is more green than we've seen all season, and that looks rather solid. The AHL looking as such. You've got Derek Brassard, who we could still call up and I guess add to the lineup to see if we can get Cooper Marody or Gaetan Haas out of there. So let's get to our roster moves and see what we can do to shape this Edmonton Oilers team the way we need to shape it. Defensemen. You know what? Heinola's got to go down. That's a no-doubter. As we've got, looks like it. We ended up sending down our poor man, William Lagesson. All right. So Tyler Benson, down he goes. Right wingers, down goes Martin Cott. And now to the in-the-system situation, we go to defense. We bring up William Lagesson. We bring up centerman. Bring up centerman, Derek Brassard, and away we go. No waivers, no waivers, no waivers. Everything's good. Perfect. Not going to lose anybody. And confirm, and bingo. So now we go back to edit lines and see what we can do here to really boost this Edmonton Oilers team. Cooper Marody's still up here at the NHL level. Couldn't send him down, but we need to keep up a line, 13th forward. So now we get Derek Brassard in there. They take out Gaetan Haas. Where's Kyle Turris? We need him in place there. We need to take out Gaetan Haas and get Richie back in the lineup here. He's going to go back up there with Nugent Hopkins and those guys. Bing, bang, boom. And where is it here? Where's Puljujärvi? Puljujärvi's there. So who am I missing? Who am I missing? I'm missing somebody along the way. Left wing, nobody. Centers. You can keep Haas in the lineup, or you can get Marody in there. That's not going to do it. Marody over there to Galchenyuk. That's not going to do it. Neal for Puljujärvi. That's not going to do it either. So we've got a little bit of an interesting plan. We had it better off the other way around. That's okay. We're going to load up, and we're really going to go the distance with this lineup here. I like what we've got. I think it's going to do us the job, and I hope it wins us the Stanley Cup we're looking for here, as we'll get Galchenyuk onto his right side. Brett Ritchie, Kyle Yamamoto, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. That line, I am expecting big, big things out of this season. You see, he's been down there in Belleville all year. He only had 6 points in 27 games, but we're going to see what we can do the rest of the way home now. Best lines in the AHL. This is going to get ugly before it gets better. Klein, Cott, Benson. That looks all right. Patrick Russell, Seth Griffith. I'm not a big fan of that line, so we'll move Gambardella up. We're going to move Raphael Lavoie up there. Maximov, is he going to go up there? Ooh, that works out. Okay. That works out. Center left wing. That works all right. Ryan McLeod to a bigger spot. And suddenly this team looking very solid all the way around. You've got center right wing. Cameron Hebig. We'd go figure in somewhere. What can we do here? That does nothing for us. So I think we'll let the AHL roll with that lineup. You see this lineup looking really, really good all of a sudden. But that's not going to work for me. We need to get Keegan Lowe out of there and get a guy who's been rocking the left defense for us since we inserted him into the lineup in Philip Broberg. He keeps that +3 going, 16 points. Oh, we got to keep developing Mr. Philip Broberg. And you look at that. That's as good of a line as you're going to get, because Evan Bouchard is hated by the coach. The coach hates Evan Bouchard. We can't wait to bring Evan Bouchard up to the NHL and get him out of that miserable situation. Make sure the defense is good to go. Adam Larson a +5, Tyson Berry a +2, Darnell Nurse a +3, and Oscar Klefbom a +13. I'm sorry, when's the last time you saw the Oilers defense looking like that? We are obviously doing something right here. You see all this looking solid so far. We're going to add one more guy. We're going to take Darnell Nurse off the power play. We're just going to see if we can't add to the power play. Who are we missing? Chase on? Yeah, we need to add Alex Chase on out there. Get him some power play time. Keep him motivated because we had to, of course, not trade him at the deadline. There we go. Alex Chiasson up there. We'll get him in spot of James Neal. And I just want to quickly take a look at the penalty kill to see what we're doing here. I don't like what we're doing here at all. Cooper Marody's not the answer. Derek Brassard's not the answer. Oh, but maybe Brett Ritchie up there. Derek Brassard and Cooper Marody seem to be an answer together on the defense. As you see, Ethan Bear's not an answer. Tough calls, tough calls. But that's okay. I'll be good. Who was it? I was supposed to be just spot on for our penalty. Oh, that was Vaseline. So nobody's going to go out there and be an absolute stud on the penalty kill for us, but I think we're going to be okay no matter how we cut it. So let's get underway. Let's finish off this season and see how this Edmonton Oilers team rolls, especially number 1 against the Ottawa Senators. And so we will go into March up to this date here against the Nashville Predators. It's going to be a big 4-2 win against the Leafs. Now all of a sudden we're a 5-4 loss. At least we're in it. 4-3 OT loss. We'll take it against Columbus. 6-4 win. Oh, 7-3 loss against Buffalo. I'm not too happy about that one. But what are you going to do against Vancouver? 4-2 loss there too. That sucks. 4-3 loss. My goodness. This Oilers team falling apart at the seams. Losing 3 straight games. That was not the way it was supposed to go, as the Oilers now find themselves comfortably still in a playoff spot, even if they lose one more game. So we're going to make one line change here. See if we can't flip things around. Derek Brassard for Kyle Turris, and see if we can't get Kyle Turris into a more premium spot and get Derek Brassard a more premium spot as well. Alex Galchenyuk, he's had 51 points. We've added so much offense to this lineup. You look at that, right? 60 points there. Kyler Yamamoto at 59. You got another 68 points, and Brett Ritchie 5 points, so he's not the problem. Draisaitl's lighting it up there. We've got it figured out. We just need to go out there and win these hockey games and get going down the stretch. How many points do we have? We have a total of 75. We've got a long way to go and only a short time to get there. So let's go get going. We will go all the way up to this next rematch against the Ottawa Senators, against the New York Rangers. 5-4 OT loss. It's a point. I'm not going to worry too much. Against New Jersey, 5-2 win to get back in the column. We'll take it. Against Arizona, 5-4 loss, and that really sucks. And that reminds me, we need to go get the scouts going, as we've got Atu Ratty there, and you are looking at quite a few stud prospects in the NHL draft. You've got Riley Kidney, who's all of a sudden looking like a high elite, but that definitely will not hold true, I don't think. Got a whole bunch of guys. Where's that gem? Where's that gem player? I saw a gem somewhere. Where was he? You got any gems in the draft? Tell me about it. Bust? Malik Dice. Malik Dice is a bust. Okay, so don't go for Malik Dice. That's what I'm getting told here right now. 5-3 loss against Vegas. What are we doing? We are struggling here. This is absolute detriment here to this Oilers team. This is not good. So let's see. What does that do? That gets us +3 and +3. Okay, we got to roll it. We got to figure it out. And I mean, Brett Ritchie not figuring it out there. So let's see if Alex Chiasson can come down and be the difference maker. There we go. You know what? Let's roll with that. Let's roll with that. +3 Alex Chiasson on the wing there with Nugent Hopkins and Kyler Yamamoto. All right. It's desperate times now. We got to solve the problems now and stop the bleeding, or we're going to find ourselves out of the playoffs. I mean, last time I did this, it all worked out fine, but it looks like all of a sudden things aren't working as nicely as they did the first time around. So let's see where we added those new scouts, where they went to. They went to USA East. Fritsch, who doesn't have assignments here? Vexan, QMJHL. How many QMJHL guys do I have? A couple Russia guys. Okay, looks like we're good. Looks like everybody's where they should be. Okay, we're good. Everybody's out there getting potential in comparisons for us. Oh, that's NLA. Ooh, he's not out there getting anybody because he's got nobody to get. So let's go change that region. Let's go find somebody, I think, like in the Dell. Would the Dell be a good spot to go? D-A-L. D-A-L. That's, sorry, I got told how to pronounce that the other night. I got to pronounce that correct now. D-A-L. I think. D-E-L. Somebody's going to correct me on that. and it's going to be beautiful. So let me go scout prospects here and see if we can't get this guy going. Hansen, we need potential in comparison, and then all of a sudden there's not much to scout, so we'll scout a total of 4 guys here and see if we can't confirm that assignment. And who else? Valery Morozov. Sorry, I keep pronouncing it weird. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm clowning around, I guess, but let's get these guys that we don't have anything on a little bit of something about, because we need to figure out if we can draft any of these late round steal Russian players and get ourselves. There's a Yakupov goalie for you, by the way. All right, let's go finish this off. We've got a 36-30-6 record. We are in the playoffs just by a string, 78 points. We fall out of the playoffs, we're toast. We're done. 78 points. We got to start winning all of a sudden. And we've got a total of 10 games to do it. So let's go 3-game chunks here and get it down to the wire. As now Adam Larson has been injured. He will not return until May 24th. That is a huge blow to the Edmonton Oilers defense. And well, you know what? It's a huge blow because we also don't have a defenseman to fix that situation. So let's go in the system. And you know what? Yeah, it's going to be Evan Bouchard. It's got to be Evan Bouchard. There's nobody else. Let's go to edit lines here. And we're going to make this happen right here, right now. Evan Bouchard fills in for... Oh, I guess we had William Legason all this time. But you know what? We got a chance to let Evan Bouchard shine. And we're going to make it happen. He's only a +1 there. Where does he fit? He does not fit this coach either. Oh my goodness. Rough go for Evan Bouchard. You're going to see that gets the +1 up there. Clefbaum and Barry. Bouchard and Nurse up there as well. And that's not going to do us anything because, of course, Bouchard, he's hated by the coach. And that's just the way it goes. So Evan Bouchard now finds himself in hot water in the NHL after having a heck of an AHL season. And now we find ourselves in a situation where we got to Phil Burrowberg up there. And it's simply going to be put. You got to get, once again, Keegan Lowe back into the lineup at the AHL level. So what do we got? Extra attacker and unfilled slot in the shootout lines. Okay, all right. We'll go fill the weird extra attacker situation here. First guy that pops up, Vinny Heinola. Good enough. Substitute him in. Oh, he's already there. So who else is going to step up and be a shooter in the shootout? Well, it's no other than Ryan McLeod. Easy go. Substitute him in. Let's go. And on extra attacker, yeah, we're going to get Raphael Lavoie out there, who's actually Martin Cott, who's been effective for us, I'm sure. St. Louis, that's a 3-2 shootout loss. Maintaining points. 6-4 win. Good to see. 4-1 loss. That sucks. So where do we sit now? 1-1-1 in those games. Things coming down to the wire. 81 points. And we are 1 point out of second. 1 point out from being out of the playoffs here. This is as tight and down to the wire as it's going to get. Leon Draisaitl in there. He's got 82 points in 75 games. Connor McDavid, 82 points. The offense seems to dry it up just a little bit here. Chase on 63 points. You got 62 for Yamamoto, 60 for Barry, 56 for Galchenyuk. We should have made any changes. We were rolling. 26 for Puljujarvi, who's now still sitting at an 80. Tough. Cooper Marody not getting the job done. That's where we're bleeding. We need Gaetan Oss back in the lineup. Cooper Marody failed experiment there. We have down to our last breath to save this NHL season for the Oilers and make the playoffs, not in a bubble format. So let's get Haas back in there, see what he can deliver. You don't think Gaetan Oss is the guy that makes the difference, but he is. He is the exact guy that goes out there and makes the difference. Right there, nothing. That's going to change nothing. Who's had more points? Brassard's had 6 points. Kyle Turris, the 38 points in 75 games. We need Gaetan Oss to save our season right here. Comes down to that. And we're going to see if he can. The LA Kings, weak competition. Then you follow it out with the Stars, Ducks, Golden Knights, and Avalanche. So let's get to April 1st and see if this Oilers team can survive what's going to be a treacherous part of the schedule. 6-5 win. That's a clutch up. That's huge. 5-0 win. That's huge right there against the Ducks. 2-1 loss. And now we sit precariously with 85 points. My goodness, we have absolutely struggled. 85 points. And we are still on the absolute bubble between life or death. The Anaheim Ducks, 41 wins in 80 games played. And we have 4 games to go in the NHL schedule. How's the AHL doing? Tell me they're better off. They are not at all better off. They are finding themselves 67 points out of the playoffs in 63 games played. They will not make the playoffs by the looks of it unless I don't know how to read the AHL schedule. So, let's get this done, shall we? Let's get this finished off. We've got Colorado, Vegas, the last 2 away games. Before that game in Calgary, 5-3 loss, 3-0 loss. Tough. Anton Forsberg, with a bruised hip, we'll just replace the player. Comes down to this. We need wins. 5-3 win. 4-3 win. And the Edmonton Oilers pull it out, baby. We pull it out. 89 points on the season. And we pull it out to get a playoff spot and a wild card berth. If you stuck around for that miracle, my goodness, boys, we pulled her out. Ladies and gents, we pulled it out. Wow, what an unreal finish. Connor McDavid, 96 points, 92 for Leon Draisaitl, 81 for Nuge, 69 for Yamo, 68 for Chiasson, 64 for Barry, 56 for Galchenyuk, Neal with 49, Clefbaum 43, Turris 39, 33 for Nurse, 27 for Puljujarvi, 22 for Caleb Jones. Puljujarvi still sitting at that 80 overall. Gaetan Oss comes in, finishes off with 20 points. Clutch finish from him. Ethan Bear, 18. Adam Larson, 18. Brett Ritchie does not work. I thought he would work so well. Only 8 points in 21 games. Derek Brassard failed as well. Evan Bouchard was just dandy. You know what? He did what he needed to do. Cooper Marody, the failure of them all. Rough go. And you look at this, the goaltending. Yeah, Mikko Koskinen all of a sudden down the stretch just started butchering it. 3.73 goals against average, .899 save percentage. Thank goodness we acquired Yaroslav Halak. .928 save percentage, .260 goals against average, and gets the job done with a 16-10-5 record on the year. That was stressful. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go find out who our playoff opponent will be. And let's get this whole season started in the playoffs. We just snuck in. We literally just snuck in. And it's going to be the Dallas Stars, our playoff opponent to start. Stars, Wild versus... Oh, man. What a slate of games. Canucks and Flames, Avalanche, and Blues. Guys, I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I will catch you in the next one.